Amigos, Barrio Stories on the Latino USA television. Raul Aguirre, La Voz, out of Tucson, Arizona, where we're bringing you different stories from different folks. And we'll be bringing you from the legends to the up-and-comer leadership and business education, politics, and so much more. Welcome once again. Today we're going to talk about a special program that we put together. My wife, Corina Ontiveros, and I put together 5 years ago to follow what she calls a loose federation of Ivy League programs, which is a great program to generate, in our opinion, develop the new generation of world leaders. Welcome. I just saw you a little while ago, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
Bienvenida. Tell us, I think you can tell us more about the program, because from its inception, you've been providing so much of the leadership as an educator, and also with leadership examples to our young community.
Okay. Well, thank you. Navigating the whole college readiness experience is fraught with nuance and details that a lot of our kids simply have been unable to access. In the state of Arizona right now, it is 700 kids for every school counselor in the public schools, which is an injustice and a travesty. So that means that children, especially first gen or what we call early generation college goers, are simply out of the loop. And the information that they can access more readily sometimes is at great cost. There's something like a cost of $500 for essay readers to look at their essays, and that's one single essay. So when we look at the need that our kids have, especially in our community, when we think about our young Chicanos growing up in Arizona and throughout the Southwest, there's a real need to provide them equity. Equity meaning what they need access to at the level that they needed to. So going back years and just finding out about the Ivy League project, the national project, just by happenstance, in fact, our daughters were in a mariachi meeting, and I heard one mom talking to another, "Hey, is your child going to apply to the Ivy League project of Arizona?" And of course my ear perked up and I said, "Wait a minute, what's that?" So we spoke to our daughter, Isabel. I said, "Mija, this might be something for you." She took the ball, she ran with it, she got accepted. And at least in our personal experience at that time, it was the only program that existed in Arizona, in Phoenix.
And let's talk a little bit about that. It started in California with Mr. Mares, who is now one of our collaborators, contributors, and conspiradores, right?
So Mr. Martin Mares is a longtime educator out of Parlier, California. And it's in the Fresno area, the Central Valley of California. And so Mr. Mares saw a need going back in the day, and he had a friend, Ruben Navarrette, who, I'm sure there's a lot more information about him.
He went to Harvard,
yes,
and wrote a different shade of crimson, a Chicano at Harvard.
That's
and
right.
He's the most widely syndicated Chicano journalist in the United States also. So it's a measurable, interesting contribution that he has made too.
Yes. So in their synchronicity, they started the first efforts at taking kids from the Central Valley of California to the East Coast. And in the initial trips, from what I understand, they took a small group of kids and they were sleeping in gyms and in dorms and sleeping bags, you name it. Over time, he's been doing this now over 32 years, 33, 34 years in fact. And over that time, he has developed a wide range of networks now across California, all under his direction still. Now outside of California, to my understanding, there are similar groups, not called the Ivy League Project, but similar in El Paso and different places. But I really want to give respect to those initial efforts, and that's why, in my view, we are part of this federation of Ivy League projects. When we started our project then in 2017, in the fall, ours was actually, it took over what existed in Arizona because the Ivy League Project of Arizona at that time closed. So to date, we are the only Ivy League project that now exists in the state of Arizona.
And at that time it was in Phoenix.
It was in Phoenix.
And now, and yeah, because we didn't want to be coming back and forth, taking kids. We're giving people rides from Tucson, from Nogales to go over there. So that's why we decided to start the program here. And so walk us a little bit through the purpose, because they do. If you parents are watching television, sometimes they go, "We can get your children into an Ivy League program. Give us $10,000, $20,000, and we'll get you. We'll they're almost guaranteed, but it's not true. There's no guarantees because acceptance to Ivy League programs is like 7-8% on the top tier. But we don't charge anything. I mean, we do the program for our students, and we recruit particularly, and not solely, but particularly in those areas where we see that need. So walk us through the different 6 months, 8 months of work and what it culminates in.
So there's an application process that the students start with, and we also include, we're moving to including the interview process. Again, giving students that process of being questioned and being in a more formal situation where they have to respond on the spot, as any of us do in an interview. Once that's over and they get accepted into the program, then we create about 9 sessions which loosely follow the regular school year, an academic school year. And in those sessions that lasted 2.5 hours more or less, is we look at different things. We bring in speakers. We talk about some of the pieces of the college application process. For example, we use something that was formerly called College Greenlight, and now it's under the care of appley.com. And this is an opportunity for students to put in information into a website that's free of charge and talk about who are they, where do they want to live, where do they want to study, what do they want to study, what might even be some of the particulars of their family, lightly their financial status, so on and so forth. And then it will give them a list of schools that they might consider applying to. And so we look at these very logical, I think, useful things that exist out in the world, and we take them through those processes. We give them an opportunity to develop those soft skills that are so important in today's world.
I don't even know why they call them soft skills, because they're really hard.
Yeah, they are.
They're hard skills, like how to shake hands, how to be confident, how to introduce yourself, how to say, in a way, I am somebody, listen to me.
And even in this post-COVID or in this new phase of COVID reality, do we extend our hands? Do we shake our heads? Do we clasp our hands? I mean, these very logistical things that require us to read each other's body language, right? So we go through this over 9 months, and then it culminates in a trip to the East Coast. Now, in our case, again, and I'm really appreciative that we can do this. The sessions are free because what we're talking about is knowledge. Knowledge is power. And if we can help each other generate that knowledge and learn to fine-tune it to our own need, then that is going to help move our generation across and to the next level. With the expectation that in doing so, themselves, these students will reach back and help their fellow students get to that next level. That when they indeed are the vice presidents of Wells Fargo, whatever, Bank of America, in corporate leadership positions, that
their own businesses.
They're entrepreneurs, that they arrive and they're not shutting the door and saying, figure it out yourself. That they indeed say, no, let me help you.
Well, that's part of the mantra, right? Get in, get going, get done, and give back. That's one of the most important things that we talk to them, besides saying, know where you are, know who you are, and know why you are. Those kind of identifiers have really helped us, I think, in the program, which is under the Southwest Leadership Initiative Project, Ivy League, Southern Arizona Project, Southern Arizona Ivy League Project, right?
Yeah. Well, we've had a couple of adjustments, and so that
they changed the name. Nobody told me.
The Southwest Leadership Initiative, and our particular our group is the Ivy League Project of Southern Arizona.
There you go.
So I want to make sure that the Ivy League Project of Southern Arizona is how we can be found on the internet.
So you fly to Phoenix, you take them to Boston, and then you go through all the top tier and Ivy League program, which is Yale, Harvard, Boston University, Brown University, Georgetown, etc.
Yes. We try to incorporate basically a variety of experiences, as well as interline some student panel opportunities where students who are connected to us in some way, shape, or form, either through networking, or they're from Tucson or New Mexico, Texas, California, and they can come and be present, and so the kids can see themselves reflected in their peers and ask questions of them. What's it like to live here? How do you deal with homesickness? What does this idea of the imposter syndrome, how have you lived it? How have you overcome it? These kinds of questions that are very real to the students when they're there, and us back home just can't give them that one-to-one support, though it is, across the wire. it's still that one step away that they need. And so in creating these relationships with students at these schools, then the kids are already living that networking experience and helping create for themselves that resiliency that they need to be successful.
And the first graduating cohort from 4 years ago, yes. Now it happened. Yes. There's a bunch of students, I think 11 or so, that have graduated. A lot of them from Pueblo High School, yes. Because we're gonna give a shout out to Pueblo and
our Dr. Teresa Toro. Dr. Teresa Toro is a counselor par none. She is a beautiful leader who, when her son went through this experience a couple of years prior to our daughter Isabel, she saw the beauty of the program, and she went back to her high school where she's one of the senior counselors, and she created the Ivy League Project Club at her school, which then allowed the students to do fundraising within the bureaucracy of a public school district, and they could fundraise, and then they could use those monies to then apply it to the trip. Now, something important I think we need to recognize, over all this time, our 5-6 years of existence and the 11 years that students in Tucson have been participating, our cost has never changed. It remains at $2,200 a student, primarily for the trip. Again, we are not charging for the program cost.
And it's a 7-day,
Mm-hmm.
7-day,
Yes.
8-day trip.
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell us, how can our audience contribute? Because it's very important.
Mm-hmm.
Where can they find the program? Especially, I want to talk to parents. It's not impossible. As a matter of fact, I see it as necessary that we take those kind of spaces. We need to occupy those spaces. We need to have a presence. So just to wrap it up, tell us the website and the opportunity for our audience to participate through the Latino USA television.
Sure. I just want to say one last thing too in the regard we were saying. When our kids go to these places, they are representing. They're representing all of us in our communities. And then they take that knowledge, they live it, and they come back. They always come back some way, shape, or form to their home community. They recognize that their nanas, their tatas, their tios, their family is back home, wherever that home is. So with that in mind, it is an investment in our local communities. To help us out, you can reach us via the internet at the Southwest Leadership Initiative, and specifically you can find us at the Ivy League Project of Southern Arizona, and we are a registered nonprofit in good standing in the state of Arizona, and we
Great.
look to continue to making connections and to be able to provide the students this trip. Our commitment is not to raise the cost. For the students themselves, it's $2,200, and however they are able to fundraise with donations, we're able to keep that in that range so that we can continue to do what we need to do and provide them this wonderful experience.
Thank you so much, Corina Ontiveros, co-founder with yours truly of the Ivy League, Southern Arizona Ivy League Project and program, and we encourage you to continue to encourage your children to get educated in so many different ways. We thank you. It's Barrio Stories, Raul Aguirre, La Voz, out of Tucson, Arizona. Have a wonderful day.